Well, you are here on the Brekkie Club, streaming live and local, right here on your Thursday morning. And I just need to start doing this again because, quite frankly, my email box is being filled up with local artists that, you know, we're still supporting, but they've got new stuff out and they're just going, can we get on the radio? And I'm going, well, yes, you can. And we're going to catch up with one of our favourites. We're spinning his music all the time. Damien Johnson, welcome back to the West Bremer Radio studios.
I do feel like the little orphan Oliver, you know, just coming out, you know, please, sir, I want some more.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Mate, how you been? You've been really, really busy.
I have been busy. This has been a big year. I know there's probably a lot of artists in that same sort of boat, just, you know, all last year, just sitting there, you know, clenched fist and like, come on, get this COVID stuff out of the way so we can start doing stuff. So I've got heaps going on. I've got an album coming out tomorrow.
Wow.
Which is really exciting. I've got shows happening all through May. And then who knows where we're going to go from that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm one day at a time at the moment.
Yeah. All right, let's change to your show that is coming up as part of the Anywhere Festival. It's going to be at Banshee's Bar and Art Space.
Yeah, right here in the top of town.
Yeah. And it's called Damien Johnson and the Blasphemer.
So that's
I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
No, you've nailed that. It is the Blasphemer. That's a little joke between a friend and I. It was his idea. He's like, oh, you should put the byline as your show as the Blasphemer because here's a really interesting local story. So when I was really young, I actually trained to become a Baptist minister, and I did this degree in theology.
No way!
Yeah, that's a true story. And I actually got baptised right here in Ipswich Central Baptist Church, which is now Studio 188, a couple of doors down. And that's where I first started training as a Baptist minister.
That is incredible. That's brilliant.
Whereas now I've got all these friends from back in those days that look at me and just assume that they think I'm the devil in disguise. And so we thought, you know what, that's cool. Let's work with that. And I'm happy to be the blasphemer. It's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about the show. What can people expect when they go in?
Well, actually, this is going to be kind of the first live performance of my album that I'm releasing. So I'm going to be working through a lot of the material that's coming out tomorrow, which is really cool because I'm really looking forward to putting that in front of a live audience. It's going to be very interactive, so there's going to be lots of opportunities for, you know, call and response and just people getting involved in the music as well, because that's something that for me as a performer, it's not like I hate the idea, and that's something I really hated in COVID when a lot of the performances you just had to sit there in a chair and watch somebody. And I feel like live music is not just about the person on stage, it's about everybody in the room creating something that you all walk away from and go, wow, that was amazing.
It's going to be great, mate. So when are you playing? It's the 8th of May?
8th of May, so it's a Saturday night, so not this Saturday but the Saturday after. Tickets are available on the Anywhere Festival website, or also if you go to my website, it's damienjohnsonmusic.com. Get tickets there, and only $10.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, I'm actually bringing down some friends from Toowoomba as well. So there's
really?
a band there called Cardboard Cutouts who are doing some really great things up in Toowoomba. And I did a show with them last year and said to them, well, how about I return the favour? Why don't you come down here to my local and...
that's great.
And get some Ipswich into you, so to speak.
Get some switch into you. All happening on the 8th of May. And, of course, if they missed you here in Ipswich, you are doing one in Brisbane, aren't you?
Well, I've got my album launch happening in Brisbane, which is the big one for me, which will be coming up the week after. So it'll be on the 13th of May. And then, yes, there's a secret Hush Hush Anywhere show also happening in Brisbane.
Come on, mate. You can't just hush hush here.
On the 21st of May. But that one I haven't started promoting yet because it's all about, let's just get the Banshee show and then the album launch show, and then we'll focus on the next show after that.
Okay, fantastic. Now, let's look at your new one called Girl.
Well, so Girl is actually the album now that Enemy and Power were all singles leading up to. So far, we've had 4 singles come out. There was Crowd in My Hand, Enemy, Power, and then earlier this year, Your Woman, which is my cover of the White Town. It's a hit from the 90s. And now Girl is going to be the album which has those 4 and another 6 songs on it. So that's, and it's pretty much all kind of alternative electro rock kind of stuff. That's kind of the niche that I've fallen into now, which I'm really loving, with the exception of one song at the end, which is a bit more of a ballad sort of thing. But so it's going to be 10 tracks and just looking
Now,
forward to
tell
getting
me
it
a
out
little
there.
bit about Your Woman, because, of course, that was your first one for 2021, and that was that video that you did with it got 35,000 views on Facebook.
Yeah, it ended up reaching like 115,000 people or something. Like and which was great, because that was the whole, like, we wanted this video to making an impact, because it wasn't just another music video. So for those that aren't familiar with what I did with that video, it was actually about trying to highlight some awareness, I guess, for issues faced by local transgender people, transgender women in particular, in the context of this video. Because for a lot of them, if you look into the stats, there's a lot of just violence and abuse that gets targeted at transgender people. And for me, I'm not transgender, but I wanted to be able to represent and speak to people, I guess, in my community, so to speak, because I think often if we're prejudiced against somebody, we're not going to listen to somebody speaking from that particular community group. And I think that's one of the unfair things that people do. And I wanted to be able to highlight and say, hey, behind everything that you might think about somebody who's transgender, there's a human being there that's just looking for love and connection and acceptance like everybody else. And if you get to take the time to actually get to know that person, you might actually discover there's an amazing human being there.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the driver behind this music video that we put out there.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, mate, you're going to bash out a song for us?
I am. I'm going to play. I'm actually, so as a teaser for the album coming out tomorrow, I'm releasing beforehand today one more single called Cello in a Fighter's Hand, which you can now hear the full kind of alt electro version.
That's nothing assumed to a crowd in my hand, is it?
It's not. Now, the story behind this one, it's actually based around a real person, a friend of mine that I knew from a few years back, who was a semi-professional Muay Thai fighter, and also a cello player. And I thought that's a really interesting combination of hobbies and interests, because often the stereotype is a sports person is just all testosterone and blah blah blah, and an arts person is all kind of just airy fairy or whatever. And whereas the reality is, people you have interests all over the board. And so I wanted to write a song about this particular person, and that's what this one's about.
All right, we're going to gear up and have a listen to this one. It's right here on West Bremer Radio. Damien Johnson, thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you. Sophistication is a tattoo on a thigh, an angel on her back, writing stories that are fueled with wine. Quantum physics is a coffee conversation, no loss for inspiration from a cello in a fighter's hand. Bare knuckles on the tips of my fingers, my God, how it lingers, and I'm breathing harder, mind blown in a soulful meditation, a standing ovation while the choir still sings. Oh, sophistication's a tattoo on a thigh, an angel on a back, we're writing stories that are fueled with wine. Quantum physics is a coffee conversation, no loss for inspiration from a cello in a fighter's hand. A fighter's hand, a fighter's hand. It's a cello in a fighter's hand. A fighter's hand, a fighter's hand. It's a cello in a fighter's hand. Shining out of sapphire eyes, touch the endless horizon. My heart's beating faster, cold sweat with a scarf around her neck. Have you got me in check? Already taken the king. Oh, sophistication, it's a tattoo on a thigh, an angel on her back. We're writing stories that are fueled with wine. Quantum physics, a coffee conversation, no loss for inspiration from a cello in a fighter's hand. A fighter's hand, a fighter's hand. It's a cello in a fighter's hand. A fighter's hand, a fighter's hand. It's a cello in a fighter's hand. A fighter's
Inspiration is a tattoo on her thigh, an angel on her back, writing stories that are fueled with wine. Quantum physics is a coffee conversation, no loss for inspiration from a cello in a fighter's hand. Thank you.